This lunch discussion was recorded January 28, 2021, during the 2021 Human Trafficking Awareness Day and Research Consortium. It offers insight into UCF's common efforts across the campus and academic programs. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at UCF downtown and Orlando, Central Florida proper, and around the world. We've got folks who have signed up for this conference from all corners of the globe, and we're really inspired by the collaborative spirit that everyone's bringing to the table, and this is very exciting stuff. Locally to UCF, we have our leading researchers here on campus and community engagers here on campus. Dr. Roberto Hugh Potter is the director for the Center for Human Trafficking and Modern Slavery here on UCF. They are UCF's lead research and partnership organization for human trafficking here in the state of Florida, and we are very excited to be with them. Also, Miss Jessica Wickey from the Rosen School, where they do significant engagement and anti-trafficking education with the hospitality and tourism industry, which helps us, as we say in the military, get left of boom, where we can identify the problems before they happen or as they're happening, so we can decrease victimization. Without further ado, Jessica, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Justin. And I apologize to all of the attendees up front that my camera just decided to not start working. So you'll see my picture, and I'll share some slides in a minute. But I'm very happy to be here and happy to join the fight. I had the pleasure of meeting Tomas Larraz with United Abolitionists about going on 3 years ago. And it's been a wonderful connection that we've been able to really bridge the gap between hospitality and tourism and human trafficking, and really start to prepare our students to be able to report and identify to help to end trafficking. I spent 25 years in the hospitality and tourism industry, and when I attended one of Tomas's presentations, I was surprised at how much I did not know. And I thought, if I don't know this, our students probably don't know this either. So in just a minute, I'll share just a few slides with you all to kind of give you an idea of what we're doing at the Rosen College and our initiatives. But I'll let Hugh go ahead and introduce yourself, Hugh.
Okay, as pointed out, I am Roberto Hugh Potter. I am a professor in the Department of Criminal Justice. I'm a sociologist, and I was appointed director of the Center for the Study of Human Trafficking and Modern Slavery just over a year ago, following the death of the original director, Mr. John Bercia. So I will let Jessica go ahead and do her presentation, and then I'll follow up on kind of the larger university-wide role that the center plays. So Jess, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you so much, Hugh. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get started. So tell me if you guys can see my screen, if it's actually going to show the full thing. Do you see that, or are you seeing something else? Let's see. I know you're seeing something else. Let's see. There we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so great. So again, I'm Jessica Wickey, and I'm the program director for Rosen Professional Internships at the University of Central Florida, Rosen College of Hospitality Management. And we have about 3,500 students enrolled, and every single semester, students are completing internships in our program. So some real fast to talk about tourism in Orlando. And the reason that this is so important that we have these conversations with our students to be able to train them is that we have 75 million visitors in 2019, the #1 destination in the United States of America. We have over 125,000 hotel rooms and growing, and we're the second largest convention center in the US. Currently, we have over 3,500 Rosen College students, and each one of them has to complete 3 internships. So they're out there working in our great industry. Every semester, we have an average of 1,000 students that are completing internships. And that means about 700 of our students are graduating each year. Why is this important? This is important because we are creating and educating the future general managers of hotels, the future directors of convention centers, the future directors of tourism, destination marketing, all across the board. We're going to teach them to be able to identify and report to help to end trafficking. And that's what's so important, that we are creating the future leaders of our industry that will go with the skill sets and tools to be able to combat this horrible, horrible issue. So I briefly discussed on the opening that we had a workshop in the spring of 2019 where we invited Tomas Larraz to come in and talk to the students about human trafficking and the hospitality and tourism industry. 200 students attended that workshop. Out of that workshop, 30 students said they identified trafficking or involvement within their workplace. One student identified they thought they were about to be trafficked after learning the material from this workshop. This was very eye-opening for us at the Rosen College. We took that very, very much to heart and decided we wanted to create curriculum that will help to educate these students to be able to identify and report to help to end trafficking. So we got started. We started with our internship courses, and we developed with the United Abolitionist online modules in our internship courses that every single student has to take. We did a soft launch in the summer of 2020 with a full launch in the fall of 2020. So far now, we've had over 800 students collectively that have gone through all of the training. It's been fantastic. All the training covers entryways into trafficking. It covers everything from hotel and lodging to large events and mega events. Talks about the financial impacts, the sociological impacts, how to report, and really how to stay safe when you're dealing with trafficking. So it's been super comprehensive and very exciting. Now, what this means as well is we have a very robust research going on at the Rosen College. We're in four of the top tier journals in hospitality and tourism are housed within the Rosen College. We have more than 40 researchers that research hospitality and tourism, and there's multiple teams are currently working on researching human trafficking. So we're going to be able to really help to move the needle forward to getting the hospitality and tourism industry on board with human trafficking education to be able to identify, report, and end. And that kind of just gives a basic on the summer of how many students we had looking into that, doing the training for human trafficking. And if you can see, this was just one quick question we asked the students over the summer in our pilot soft launch. Before the human trafficking training, how knowledgeable were you? Some of them said not at all, slightly, moderately, very, right? Now this is the after completing this training, how knowledgeable were you regarding human trafficking? Look at that. Now, very and extremely. So we did our job. The curriculum did its job, which is very exciting. And so that's what we're working on. Then we asked them if they had witnessed trafficking in the workplace. Most of the students said, maybe, we're not quite sure. We asked them then, would you report trafficking if you identify it in your workplace? And you can see most of the students said, absolutely, we're going to report it. This is why what we're doing is so important, because the students will have the tools and resources to be able to identify and report. Do you feel this training prepared you identify and report human trafficking in your workplace? And you can see again, most of the students said yes. So it's a very exciting time at the Rosen College. Again, we have, usually about 700 to 800 students that are going to be graduating. They're going to be all of them trained to be able to identify, to report, and to end trafficking. So I'm excited to share that with you. And if you ever have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat. And if you have anyone who would like to learn more about what we're doing, to come and speak as part of our series, of our leadership series on trafficking, if you would like to come and learn more about it or just talk to us, we would definitely enjoy that. And I see, hi, Francis Lee. Thanks. All right, Hugh.
Thank you, Jessica. And Jessica highlights, along with what Justin and others have been doing with you all from the Center for Nonprofit Management and Public Administration, just the breadth of what we do here at UCF that addresses human trafficking, modern slavery in some fashion or another. So part of this came about, this broad approach came about several years ago when John Bercia, who was the person who really was the driver behind this originally. He was a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, as many may know in this area. And John, as part of the Global Initiatives process, started pushing for all of us at UCF who work in this area to come together and learn more about what we were doing and so forth. So unfortunately, just as John made the application and got the application for the center to be the only center recognized by the State University Systems Board of Governors for human trafficking, he died. And this all came about the time several of us were putting together proposals for grants and other things. And through part of this process, Dr. Elisa Smith over in legal studies, who was the co-director, asked me if I would step in. I did, and was confirmed. So what we do, and let me stress that everything we do here at UCF around this right now is pretty much volunteer. I am a volunteer. This is not a formal part of my job, if you will. But what we try to do is to bring together all of the people on campus who are working in this area or are interested in this area. And we then try to involve the community members in what we're doing as well. So we have 5 primary objectives. One of these is community engagement. And what we try to do here is to facilitate awareness building at a minimum through public forums, information sharing, media such as WUCF, TV and radio, and networking through partnerships with our regional, national, and international organizations. And this is where, and I want to make sure people appreciate the fact that it's not just social scientists like me or Dr. Watkins on here or others who are involved in this, but we have a lot of people in the humanities and in the arts who are also involved. So part of what we're trying to do through the center on campus is really bring these things together so we can collaborate, so we can think about things in different ways. And then we try to move from awareness to action. And that action can be by a phrase I stole from my old friends at the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, by moving science and art to service. How do we take what the university faculty do, research, perform, how do we take that and put it into practice out in the field, and then make sure that practice is reaching what we want to do? So through that in community engagement, we also work in our research. So we encourage and support solution-oriented and interdisciplinary research on human trafficking. We work through educational things like this. You may be aware, Jessica, for example, has yours already happened? The session you all were doing the other day? Has that happened yet?
Yes, that was with the UCF
Okay.
Police Department last Wednesday. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and our victim services group, who also do Green Dot, which I'm part of at the state level, also have been doing a session on human trafficking. And we have a 3-part series right now, Lunch and Learn, 2 of which have occurred. Hopefully some of you were able to be there on Monday. And then next Tuesday, Catherine Gomez from the Department of Juvenile Justice and I are doing a Lunch and Learn on prevention and demand reduction. And I see you have a portion of what I'll talk about later today about the role of men in demand reduction. And so we do all kinds of things, and we're hoping, again, working with the folks at Rosen and others, to try to be able to do some national and international conferences on these things. Training, of course, and education. If you go around the university, we have a lot of courses that either are directly related to human trafficking. For example, in criminal justice, we have an undergraduate and graduate course that talk about criminal justice responses to human trafficking, which we try to make broader than just criminal justice, because it is. We also have portions of other courses, like a victims course over in sociology, and other courses, some of the women's studies courses that incorporate aspects of human trafficking. So we are looking at, working together to try to develop more educational opportunities, more certifications, et cetera, that we can do. Again, training, working with abolitionists, working with others. We also go out and help people with those 2-hour requirements that many of the professions now have out there. Making sure that we're getting evidence-based, quality information out into the world, so people aren't believing some of the things we have a myths and facts, or as journalists called it back in the 80s when we did it in juvenile justice, the missing facts section coming up on our website at the center. And we are building toward trying to fund more student fellowships and survivor scholarships. I'm trying to put a little pressure on the administration to do what Valencia does and offer some survivor tuition waivers, et cetera. We'll see how that goes. But basically, we are here. I like to think of us, I can use a Lord of the Rings, one ring to unite them all. But I also want to think that the center can function more as an amplifier for what people are doing. We've been able to send out notes to everybody who's on our listserv, and advertise what's been going on this month. We will be sending out more information soon. We're looking at doing an international labor series as well over the next couple of months for our Lunch and Learn series and our podcasts that we have been putting together. So basically, you say everybody involved in it pretty much is a volunteer, and it really is a university-led effort to make sure that we are, as a state university, that we are getting as much out there as we can, and working with our partners at other universities, particularly those who are part of this, if it still exists, the cosmopolitan or the urban sort of triumvirate, to try to make sure that we have statewide coverage of the issues that are going on. And I'm going to stop there, and if people have questions they want to type, I'm happy to respond.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Hugh. I know we had a question from Deja Price. Deja, did you want to ask your question? It was about are you there?
Yes, I can ask the question.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for speaking with us. I really wanted to know, is there a way for people who are in cybersecurity to volunteer? Or I guess I'm trying to say, if you don't go to UCF or you're not even in the area, how can you volunteer? I've tried to find many ways to volunteer with this, and it's kind of hard to get a straight answer from anyone. So.
Deja, if I may, there are several organizations out there. I don't know if Tomas is with us. I don't know if the newest organization, and I am really bad with names, so I apologize, but there is a new group here in the area who are working. I'd have to look them up. But they certainly are looking for people in the community to become part of that as volunteers. And I'm sure they are, the people who run it are ex-Siemens. So they're retirees from Siemens. So, they would probably welcome somebody like you with open arms. And of course, our cybersecurity group, Ted Reynolds is on our advisory group, and he's over in political science, security studies, et cetera. But that's one of his specialties. So I think there are probably several opportunities of community organizations that would love for you to get there. So Maria, you have a
I have a follow-up with that, Hugh, actually, I see that some people are putting in the chats here, you know, that there's some organizations and lists of organizations, but I know, having worked very closely with United Abolitionists, I'm sure they would love any kind of volunteering help for cybersecurity. If you are an expert in that, I'm sure they would enjoy help. There's also there's many organizations right here in Central Florida, and luckily, one of the, I don't want to say benefits of the pandemic, but one of the benefits of what's happened is we're all virtual now, like this Zoom right now. So you can be all over the country and still support these great organizations. So I would highly, if you can email me, I can connect you with Tomas Larraz from United Abolitionists. There's also another group called Safe Alliance that is always looking for volunteers in different areas as well. And I see that Catherine Gomez put her email in the chat. So hopefully that answers your question. What is your expertise in cybersecurity, Deja?
I'm actually new to cyber, so I'm coming out of the Cyber Workforce Academy for Science Institute, and human trafficking is the main reason I got into cyber. I had built an app to help mitigate human trafficking, but I was so green at the time, and now that I know a little bit more, I really want to get involved. So.
Listen, I would love to have you come speak at our school. Absolutely. Please email me and I would love to connect.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And SAFE was who I was thinking of. So thank you, Jessica.
Absolutely. You got, yeah, Safe Alliance is doing great things, and they could definitely use some more help and with your expertise. Safe Central and Safe Alliance too. Oh, thank you, Gregory. All right, so do you have any other questions? I see that there's some survivors that have offered to come and help, and anybody who is a survivor of trafficking, I would love to invite you to come and sit on a panel with me for my students as part of our leadership series with our internship students. I'll be recruiting for the fall 2021. So let me know again if you're interested. I will happily email me and we can happily discuss you coming to talk to our students. I think that your stories will resonate very much with my students, and it will help to enforce that understanding that this is real, this is happening, and we have to do something to stop it. And education is the very first way we can actually combat it. So any other questions that we have? We got about 5 or 6 more minutes, and I know I went through my data super fast because I wanted to give time for end of the presentation discussion questions and time for Hugh to present. But if anybody wants more details, I'll happily share my PowerPoint, and I'm happily to share all of the data. What we found has just been exponentially wonderful, even to the fact that our at the end of the semester, we asked the students, what they think of their semester outside of the small survey I did. And so many of them commented that they love this new human trafficking curriculum, that all the students were very excited that we were addressing this and that they had no idea. So we're very proud of our students and what they're gonna do in the industry. Josh has a question. Okay, Josh, you wanna unmute and ask your question?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Hey, just wanted to ask, has insider threat in the sense of insider trafficking been addressed in the training? Just in the event that there is someone that's within the hospitality industry that is sponsoring, so whether it's security guard or maintenance worker or something like that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. So insider threats, meaning like somebody's working with the traffickers at their organization. And this is something that we do talk about, that, to be able to identify, watch your team members, watch what's going on. If it's if it's a housekeeper that's allowing the trafficker access, if it's a front desk agent that's looking the other way and giving extra keys and not, not following protocol, if it's a security guard or whatnot. So that's something that we do address. Was that what you're talking about, Josh?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
Perfect. Yep. And we do address that. And that's something too that just as the Rosen College, which we haven't really launched yet, but hey, guess I'll tell everybody here. We're looking at putting together some executive level training that will actually, right now, all of our undergraduate students get this great curriculum. We're looking, along with United Abolitionists, to put together some kind of executive level training that will then help the executives and management level really to look and identify their teams and be able to pinpoint if one of their team is working with a trafficker. And so giving that really comprehensive. Right now we talk about it on a surface level, but we're looking at doing a deep dive into characteristics and things like that. So look forward to that in 2022.
Thank you so much.
Maria, you had a question?
I'm a co-founder for non-profit television, which will be a global organization which will be launching. And I am doing a lot of research on human trafficking, a lot of research on organizations across the globe to be able to them to collaborate to try and stop human trafficking across the globe because it's systemic. I've seen such a big increase during COVID. I've been shot, so I've got a list of organisations across the globe that I can put you into touch, Jessica, that are doing the same thing. So if you want the list of organisations, I'm happy to help you with that list.
Maria, that is amazing. Absolutely. So I see your email in the chat. And so are those zeros in your email? Okay, perfect.
Absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn. So anything that you need and any support, I work with young people. I'm also an autism advisor for people with special needs, trying to train them up to understand when people come to them, how stranger danger. So I do that voluntary myself. I do it just because I'm passionate about it. So any help I can give to keep young people safe, young boys and young girls safe, is my absolute honor and pleasure to do. So
thanks, Maria. Absolutely. We will definitely be reaching out to you and emailing you. And that's what's so wonderful about these conferences and these summits, as opportunity for all of us to get together to say, we're not going to take this anymore. We're not going to allow people to be trafficked and to be enslaved anymore. It's right now, they said it's, $150 billion industry, and over 25 million people are still trafficked every single year. So with partners like you, Maria, we can start to move the needle on the other way. I know we've only got 1 minute left. Any final questions? I
want to make one final comment. I see a lot of stuff about research, so I'm going to put on my institutional review board hat for a moment. Please, everybody, because this is a very sensitive topic, before you go too far, and particularly before you gather any data, make sure that if you're working with a research partner, they have done all they're supposed to do with their IRB to make sure that the research is being done according to institutional ethics. Just one of those things I want to toss out there.
Oh, excellent point, because you won't be able to use any of it if you haven't followed the appropriate rules. And you want to
legally, and you can get people in a lot of trouble.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We definitely don't want to do that. Well, thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, Tomas, and thank you everyone for planning this incredible quick session and this conference. I'm so honored to be here. If anyone wants to reach out, I put my email in the chat, so feel free. Thank you again so much. And Hugh, so great to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've done one of these, so yeah. Thanks again, Justin. Thank you all for the invitation, and I got to move on to my next one now.
It's absolutely our pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And if I can make one more point on the IRB research side of the house, the School of Public Administration actually houses the university's research administration program, academic program at the master's level. And that's one of the areas that we're even thinking about going in and looking at as far as how the human trafficking problem set is researched from the research administration side of the house. Everything from IRBs all the way through quantitative assessments, qualitative assessments, or grants. There's a lot of work to be done in human trafficking, and even research administration and research about research on human trafficking is another area that we need to dig into. So that was a great point, and thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you guys throughout the rest of the week. And it was a great presentation. We're very humbled.